Thanks for tuning in to 92.3 The Wolf for tonight's Louisiana High School Athletic Association Division IV Regional Playoff Contest between the Trojans of Sacred Heart High School and your Ouachita Christian Eagles. My name's David Gordy. It's my privilege to bring you the play-by-play call tonight. Handling the color commentary, as always, my Eagle teammate, Saul Graves. Down on the sideline, our man on the field tonight with the Marion State Bank Sideline Report, former Ouachita Christian defensive coordinator, Coach V, Sonny Vadrine. And as usual, Donnie Haley's up here with us, bringing us all the numbers. And back in the studio, the talented hands of Aaron Collins. And I think let's go down to the sideline and check in with Coach Sonny Vadrine. Coach, I wouldn't say the Hawks out tonight, but it feels like a cold one.
No.
Well, it looks like we're having a little difficulty with Coach Vadrine. We'll go back down and check on him a little later. Saul, it seemed like this season just started a few weeks ago. I know you and I have talked about about the end of the year and the playoffs for a little while now. Well, here it is. You win tonight, and you still have a chance to end the year as a state champion. You lose, and the 2000 season ends tonight.
That's right, David. The stakes are much higher tonight. We talked a little about that as we went off the air last week, that the playoffs are a do-or-die situation. You know, you lose and you're done for the year, and it's just ramped up another notch when you get into these select school playoffs because of the fact it's a 16-team playoff in Division IV. And so it's just the competition. It's like a Week 2 playoff game in the old playoff system, and so things are not as easy. And, of course, OCS has found that out the hard way the last 4 years, given the fact that they've not been able to play or practice or play during Thanksgiving week as they've gone out in the second round of the playoffs for a few years in a row now. So tonight's a chance to play a team that we're pretty familiar with. It's really weird that we've played them so many times, but we have played them a couple years ago down there in Ville Platte. And Sacred Heart will be our first big test of the playoff season.
Well, both teams out on the field right now going through their pregame warm-ups. The Eagles are going to be wearing green on green tonight. Green pants, green jerseys with gold numbers, and, of course, the traditional Ouachita Christian gold helmet. Sacred Heart comes in their traveling whites, white pants, white jerseys with royal blue trim, and blue helmets with a royal blue face mask, as the Trojans making their way up from Ville Platte tonight. The Eagles in this playoff contest at 9-1, district champs in district play. Their only loss coming to I think right now the number 1 ranked team in Class 3A, the Shirlington Panthers. The Trojans come in at 5-5, 2-3 in district play. Saul, as you mentioned only a moment ago, these two teams have met 5 times before tonight. The first time back in 1989, the second in 2005, back-to-back in 2012, 2013, and the last time was down in Ville Platte in 2017, and every one of the games has been a playoff contest, with the Eagles winning all of the games. And when you look at the numbers, Saul, all of the games by some pretty comfortable margins. I know you've seen a little bit out of this team from Sacred Heart. We've both seen the Eagles every game this season. Is there anything that you've seen or anything that you think, anything that the Trojans are going to do to make it any different tonight?
Well, I think one thing that's interesting is they play very good defense, David. They come into the ball game only giving up 18 points a game, which is a pretty salty number for a defense. You look at the Eagles on the season, only giving up 12 points a game. So they've been just slightly better. But, Sacred Heart's done a good job on defense. Where they've struggled this year, though, has been on offense, only scored 17 points per game. And you look at some of the better teams that they played this year, they've really struggled there. And, in fact, got shut out a few weeks ago by St. Edmunds in a close ball game. It was only 13-0, but just couldn't find anything offensively. I know Coach Fitzhugh has mentioned that they'd had some guys hurt. Only dressed out about 20 people last week, but their coach felt like they would get a lot of those guys back, and as a result, maybe it'll be a better team and maybe as healthy a team right now as they've been all season. So, anytime you get in the playoffs, anything can happen, and certainly not taking this team lightly despite those past wins that the Eagles have gotten in comfortable fashion.
Little crisp tonight, little cool on the cool side of things, and we're going to go down to the sideline and check in with Coach Sonny Vadrine with the Marion State Bank Sideline Report. Coach, is it warming up out there at all?
but it's kind of cold, and in his. It's just it's really cold tonight, but it's nice. The wind's not blowing, and guys, it's going to be.
Just having a tough time catching up with Coach Vadrine. He's probably having some technical difficulties down there. We'll go back to him, and hopefully we'll have a chance to catch up with Ouachita Christian head football coach Stephen Fitzhugh. We're about 25 minutes away from getting tonight's contest underway. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to 92.3 The Wolf for tonight's playoff contest between the Ouachita Christian Eagles and the Trojans of Sacred Heart High School. Come back and join us for more of our pregame. You're listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf. Stadium, Ouachita Christian School, the Ouachita Christian Eagles hosting the Sacred Heart Trojans in tonight's Louisiana High School Athletic Association Division IV Regional Playoff Contest. Both teams were on the field. The Eagles have gone in to warm up and get ready for tonight's contest. The Trojans still out going through a little pregame. The Sacred Heart actually located in Ville Platte, Louisiana. And the Trojans had about a 3.5-hour drive to get to Eagle Stadium tonight. That's a pretty good road trip for the opening round, first round of the playoffs for the Trojans.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, of course, you look around the state and see some teams that really have traveled a lot tonight, going across the state. You know, I know South Lafourche came up here tonight to play West Monroe. South Lafourche playing Neville. Central Lafourche playing West Monroe, and so that's a long drive for those teams. So not quite as far for Sacred Heart, but you know certainly it's just the way the PowerPoints are. There's no regional games per se. It's just a matter of where you fall, and so you could be all the way across from state line to state line, and still might have to play each other in the first game.
The head coach for the Eagles in his 22nd season is Stephen Fitzhugh. Coach Fitzhugh comes into tonight with a career record of 201 wins against 74 losses. Ouachita Christian is 61-27 all-time in playoff games. 36-14 when hosting playoff games. The head coach for the Trojans in his 5th year is Josh Harper. Coach Harper with an overall career record of 27 wins and 27 losses. And Coach Harper will be looking for his first win against the Eagles tonight. The Eagles enter tonight's contest currently ranked number 5 in Class 1A according to the Louisiana Sports Writers Association poll. Sacred Heart is ranked number 12 according to the same poll. Having said that, this time of the year, polls don't matter anymore. Win or go home. Saul, if the Eagles are successful and able to pull off a win tonight, what's the playoff picture look like moving forward from here?
Well, again, the playoffs are condensed, and so you think about it in the old 32-team bracket, and usually when you were a number 5 seed, you could pretty much be guaranteed a couple games at home if all things fell the way that they should. So, but that's not the way it is now, and so if we were to win tonight, then we would play the winner of St. Frederick's versus Calvary. If St. Frederick's would win that game, which would be a monumental upset, then we would play at home against St. Frederick's. However, what likely will happen is that Calvary would win that ball game, and as a result, with them being the 4 seed, we would travel to Shreveport to take on Calvary.
Well, both teams continuing to go through their warm-ups. Well, actually, the Eagles inside, Sacred Heart continuing to throw it around, probably trying to stay warm down there. Again, having some technical difficulties. Want to go down and catch up with Coach Sonny Vadrine, find out what the weather conditions are. And, that's one thing, Saul, not anymore. We don't have to really worry about the conditions of the field because we are still playing on a beautiful turf field here at Eagles Stadium. We're about 18 minutes away from kicking off tonight's contest. We're going to take another break from here at Stephen Fitzhugh Field, Eagles Stadium. You're listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle Football on 92.3 The Wolf. Ouachita Christian Eagles Stadium. Monroe, Louisiana, for the Division IV regional playoff contest between the Trojans of Sacred Heart High School and your Ouachita Christian Eagles. The Eagles have gone in. We're about 15 minutes away from getting tonight's contest underway. The Trojans still out on the field going through their pregame warm-ups. Eagle fans, everybody wants to know what it's going to take for Ouachita Christian to get their first-round victory tonight. I know I've been thinking about it all week. What are they going to have to do to be able to win this football game and have a chance to head over to Shreveport next week and take on the Cavaliers of Calvary? I think I know what the Eagles need to do. The guy sitting right here to my right says he knows what they have to do. And the reason he knows is because he has the keys to victory.
All right, Davis, I'm going to change it up tonight. I'm going to start on offense first. And the thing I think we need to do on offense tonight is I think we need to be very physical up front. Our MO on offense this year has been being able to run the football. You take out the Oak Grove game, which is an exception when Landon Graves started that game, and we were very, very good through the air. For the most part this year, it's been run the football. That's been the way that we've made things happen. And Hunter Herring comes in with 11 rushing TDs on the year. Will Fitzhugh averaging 10 yards a carry on the year, also with 11 rush TDs. And also Dylan Dugan, 692 yards this year, our leading rusher, averaging 9 yards a carry, and also 8 rushing TDs. Now, one thing that'll make it a little bit more of a challenge tonight is that Garrett Folds, our sort of the anchor, he and Michelle on that offensive line, senior right tackle, likely will not play tonight because of an ankle injury he suffered last week. Coach Fitzhugh feels like he could go if he has to in an emergency situation, but he's not going to start him off in the game. He's going to put Casey Cobb at right tackle and Avery Pilgreen to slide in and start that left tackle. Really, Pilgreen and Cobb have been alternating all year long, so we do lose the presence of Folds out there, so to make it a little bit more of a challenge. But those two guys, I think, will be up to it. On defense, I think the key is going to be to contain and pressure their quarterback. Ethan Karanicka is his name, a sophomore. And as evidenced by the fact they're only averaging 17 points per game, they really hadn't been very effective on offense. But I think he's a guy that's probably their best athlete, leading rusher, at least on the film that we've seen. He's been their leading rusher. And so I think a key is going to be to contain him. And going to have a little bit of challenge on defense as well, is because Christopher Holyfield is probably not going to play tonight as well. I actually had a sort of a freak injury in practice this week, and he is going to be used only in an emergency situation tonight. So not really sure who's going to step in and take his position on defense, but that'll make it a little bit more of a challenge as Holyfield has been having an unbelievable year on defense. And the last thing is it's playoff time. And so let me ask you a question. What's the most important – what do we talk about all the time? Every time we talk to Coach Fitzhugh, what's he talk about in terms of who wins ball games?
Whoever gets the turnovers when they need them.
That's correct. So you got to win the turnover margin. And so I just want to focus on this just a second. This team this year has been phenomenal in terms of creating turnovers and protecting the football. 13 interceptions that the defense has come up with this year, 18 fumble recoveries this year. So that's a total of 31 takeaways. The offense has been just as good in holding on to the football. Only lost 4 fumbles all year and 3 interceptions. That equates to a plus 24 turnover margin. So I started thinking, what is that? How does that compare to teams that the Eagles in the past? What that OCS football teams done in the past? Is plus 24 a good number? I thought it was, but I wanted to look and see what the numbers spelled out. And so we've been playing football at OCS for 42 years. In 42 years of football at OCS, there's only been 4 other teams that have had turnover margins in the 20s. And you know what the common denominator of all those teams are?
I played on them.
You did play in one, but all 4 of those teams made it to the state championship game. Now, the one you played on didn't win a state championship. The other 3 actually did. The 1985 team, plus 28 turnover margin. 2011 team, plus 27. The 87 team that you played on was plus 25, and the 2012 team was plus 21. So this team right now would rank as the 4th best team in turnover margin in the history of OCS football, and they've still got some games to go to try to make that margin up. And so I just think it's been an incredible year in terms of turnover margin, and I think if that trend continues, then this could be a pretty special year for OCS. I just want to keep them. I think that's going to be a huge key tonight and moving forward is winning that turnover margin. We've done a pretty good job of it this year.
A crafty group of guys. And I'm telling you, folks, if you haven't had a chance to come out and watch this football team play, they are a ton of fun to watch. Very exciting. They do a lot of things. And Tucson, I wanted to take a moment tonight, too. We always talk about what a great job our offense does at putting points on the board. But I know you watch it a lot closer than I do, so I do want to take a minute to recognize Coach Tim Mosier and that offensive line, because coming into this year, I didn't know what our offensive line would look like, and I tell you, they seem to be a real bright spot on this year's team as far as protecting the quarterback and opening up holes for these running backs to run through.
Yeah, and they've been very, very physical, Dave. That's what I like about them. And what's even more encouraging is the fact that of the 4 starters tonight, of the 5 stars tonight, 4 of them are sophomores, and that's Casey Cobb, Andy Weatherford, James David Miller, and Avery Pilgreen. And they're solid kids. They're smart kids, so that enables them to do a lot of stuff on the offensive line. And of course, Grant Mishaw has been phenomenal on offense and defense, and left tackle on the offensive line. So just a tremendous group of kids. And of course, Garrett Folds is a really, really good offensive lineman. So we'll miss him tonight, but hopefully we won't need to use him. As I mentioned, he's available if they have to use him, but hopefully they can keep him on the sideline, let him rest, and they can get out here with a win over Sacred Heart and move on, let him play next week.
Well, we got about 9 minutes away from kickoff here at Eagle Stadium, and we are now going to go down to the sidelines and catch up with Coach Sonny Vadrine with the Marion State Bank sideline report. Coach, how you doing down there?
Oh, man, everything's good. It really is. It's a nice night. It's awful cold, but I tell you what, the wind's not blowing, so it's not going to be that hard of a deal. And, it's just exciting. This is an exciting time. I got Coach Fitch here with me. I know you, Coach. It's exciting, Coach. It's third part of the season, and we got everybody ready to go.
We are. I tell you, this is playoff time is what I told the guys. There's nothing like it. It's time to turn it up another notch, and like I say, just get out there, have fun, and play OCS football again. There's 8 teams didn't come to the playoffs. There's going to be 8 teams last tonight, and we got to scratch them off the list one at a time, and so I'm excited about it. Let's get out there.
It's just going to be fun. Go get them. There you have it, guys. That was kind of quick. He's excited tonight, and I think everybody is. It's what it's all about. We always call this the third season. You have your non-district season, and you have your district season, and you got the playoff season. And I tell you what, these guys are ready to go tonight. It's going to be exciting, and hope we can just execute and do what we do, and defense keep playing fast and furious, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Well, Coach, I did notice earlier when I was down on the field, it is cool, but it's crisp, and the Hawk is not out tonight.
It's not. He went back inside his little old cage. He didn't want to be out in the wind either tonight. So it's nice. It's just cold, but it ain't no wind blowing. And it's going to be a really nice night, guys. It really is.
All right. Thanks a lot. Coach Sonny Vadrine with the Marion State Bank sideline report. The Eagles have made their way onto the field about 7 minutes now away from kickoff of tonight's contest. We're going to take another quick break from here at Eagle Stadium. Thanks for tuning in to us tonight. You're listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf. Fitzhugh Field at Eagles Stadium. Both teams have made their way out onto the field, and we are getting ready to go tonight for tonight's contest. About a minute and 20 seconds from the coin toss. Coach Sonny Vadrine down there on the field to bring the toss to us with a Marion State Bank report. As the Eagles again come into tonight's contest, green on green, green pants, green jerseys, and of course the traditional Ouachita Christian gold helmet, gold numbers on the jerseys. Sacred Heart makes their way up to Monroe, 3.5-hour drive tonight from Ville Platte. They come in their travel whites, white pants, white jerseys with royal blue trim, and the Trojans sporting a gold helmet as well. As again, both teams have made their way onto the field, and we're fixing to go down for tonight's coin toss.
Captains for tonight for the Eagles are number 13, John Thomas Dixon, number 22, Will Fitzhugh, number 53, Jacob Ogden, and number 66, Will Carroll.
Captains getting ready to make their way across, and the Trojans getting lined up as well. A cool night here at Eagle Stadium. As Coach Sonny Vadrine mentioned earlier, not a lot of wind out on the field. So it's actually it's almost perfect fall football weather, Saul.
It sure is, and I mean, we mentioned this last week. Now, last week was probably just a little too cold for me, but tonight I think it's perfect. It's one of those kind of games where if you're a player, you're certainly not going to worry at all about the temperature at all tonight.
Let's go down to the sideline, or down for the coin toss with Coach Sonny Vadrine.
Here we go, guys.
All right, Jim, congratulations on making it to the playoffs tonight, all right? Round one of the playoffs. Lose, you go home. So let's go out here and give it all and have fun, all right? White, you the visitors. Green, you the home team. I want white talking to white, green talking to green. All right, guys? Have a heads. Have a tails. I'm going to flip it, let it hit the ground. What's your call? Your call's heads. It is heads. You want to talk. You want to receive. All right?
We're kicking off.
All right. So
They won the toss.
They won the toss. All
So
right.
we get the ball in the second half, but they won the toss, so they'll be kicking it off. We'll be kicking off to them.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach. Coach Sonny Vadrine with the Marion State Bank sideline report. We're going to have our invocation and national anthem here at Eagle Stadium. Invite you to come back and join us for tonight's kickoff. You've been listening or are listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf.
Following the prayer, we'll have our national anthem. Let's bow together.
All right. I'll let you. Campus of Ouachita Christian School. Eagle Stadium. Regional round of the Division IV Louisiana High School Athletic Association playoffs. The Ouachita Christian Eagles hosting the Sacred Heart Trojans. We're moments away from getting this contest underway. Handling the kicking chores for the Eagles tonight is going to be number 1, Sam Harrell. As Saul mentioned earlier, Christopher Holyfield with a night off, kind of recuperating from a little bit of an injury, as Sam will take care of the kicking duties tonight. The Trojans are going to send 2 men deep. They're going to stand at their 15-yard line awaiting the kick of Harrell. Sam's going to get a good one off. It's going to travel inside the 15-yard line. Going to be picked up by number 7, Tyler Perron. And Perron is going to get out across the 25, 27-yard line where he's going to be upended. Nice kick that time by Harrell, and pretty good coverage that time by the Eagles on the kickoff return.
Yeah, the kick was a little bit like the ball was spinning sideways, but he got a good, he hit it, as you mentioned, down inside the 20. The ball took one bounce, and Sacred Heart picked it up, but good coverage by the Eagles to stop him inside the 30-yard line, or right at the 30-yard line.
Perron with the gain of 16 yards on the return. It's going to be 1st down and 10 for the Trojans. Karonica, number 5, Ethan Karonica, is going to bring the Trojans to the line. Gain of 4 yards on a handoff that time. As, it's going to bring up 2nd down and 6 for the Eagles. They give up a quick dive play that time, saw a gain of 4 yards.
Yeah, and it looks like that number 51, James David Miller, is going to be the one who gets the start in the place of Christopher Holyfield at left defensive end.
Ethan Karonica brings the Trojans to the line. A pretty tight formation in the backfield. This time it's going to be a direct snap. Tough to see who took the snap that time for the Trojans, but the Eagle defense stiffens up. Maybe a gain of a yard. Looked like number 25 for the Trojans. That's McElwee as he picks up a yard. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 for the Trojans. Ball at their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, and Sacred Heart's going back about 50 or 60 years in their offensive formations. They come out with a double wing, tight formation with the wingman facing inside towards the quarterback. Now they're going to split one man out to a wide receiver, but still very unconventional offense, at least in 2019.
That's a tight formation. Karonica's going to turn. He hands this one off to number 7, Tyler Perron, and Perron is going to get, 3 yards, needed 6. So it's going to bring up the first 4th down of the night for the Trojans. It's going to be 4th and 1. Interesting situation. Well, actually 4th and 1.5, maybe 2. Actually, it is 2. Donnie tells me it's 2, and it looks like the Trojans are going to punt the football.
Yeah, it looked like he maybe had something there on the run. They ran a little trap play, pulled I believe it was the right guard, and he got behind him on the left side of the offensive formation. But Will Fitzhugh comes in and stops him short of the line to gain for the 1st down. So good job by the Eagles on the first 3rd down situation to hold Sacred Heart and force them to punt.
4th down and 2, and it does look like the Trojans are going to punt this football and do a soccer-style kick that is going to hold and check up at the 40-yard line, where the Eagles will have their first possession of the night. Punt's going to cover 22 yards, no return, so it sets up Ouachita Christian 1st down and 10 at their own 40-yard line. 9 minutes and 51 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. No score at Eagle Stadium. Junior quarterback Hunter Herring brings the Eagles to the line. 1st down and 10. Herring stands in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers part of the set. Wastes little time in putting some air under it and does. He's going to hit Fitzhugh on a quick slant that time. Saul picks up 9 yards on the play.
Yeah, the Eagles actually sent 3 receivers to the wide side of the field, and they only sent 2 defenders over there. Landon Green was on the outside with nobody covering him, and if Herring had seen him, it would have been an easy touchdown down the sideline. Landon Green actually was waving his arms at Herring, trying to get his attention.
2nd down and 1. Herring looks to throw. He's got a man downfield. It's going to be incomplete. Almost intercepted on the play that time. Looking for Landon Graves as Hunter Herring put a little air under that one, but a good play down the field for Sacred Heart. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, they did get somebody over on Landon Graves that time. Just ran a go route on the outside, and Herring underthrew him. And a good job by Landon Graves to knock that football down to keep it from being intercepted.
3rd down and 1. Ball at the Eagle 49-yard line. Herring in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Herring's going to take this one, fakes it, and this one's going to be incomplete. Going to bring up 4th down and 1. Ball at the 49-yard line. Interesting call early in the game for Coach Fitzhugh.
It looked like that was an RPO there where Herring faked the ball inside and was going to throw the slant. And I think he was throwing the ball to Eckstein. I'm not quite sure. It was so far behind him, it was hard to tell if he was throwing it to him or Fitzhugh, who was a little further out to the outside. But in any event, he put it in between both of them where neither one of them had a chance.
4th down and 1 for the Eagles. Herring in the shotgun. Sends a man in motion. That's Fitzhugh. Calls for the ball. He's going to call his own number. He's going to go across the 50, across the 40, across the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown! Washita Christian. Number 11, Hunter Herring, is going to take it into the end zone for a 51-yard Trinity Diamonds direct touchdown.
There's nothing fancy about that play. The Eagles just put a couple of men to the right side of Herring. They brought Fitzhugh in motion, had Dugan there, and they just ran the ball off between the right guard and right tackle, and it was wide open. And sometimes you see that on a short yardage situation. If you can bust it through that initial line of scrimmage, there's nobody in the back to make that tackle, and Herring just outruns everybody to the end zone for a first touchdown this game.
Sam Harrell on to attempt the extra point. Walker Morris with the hold. We get a good snap, a good hold, and the kick is good as the Eagles take a 7-0 lead over the Sacred Heart Trojans. Saw that time when you saw Herring come out of the pack. One of the things that's pretty neat to see out of the junior quarterback is his ability to run the football in space. Is that time, man, when he gets into the open field and can run straight ahead, he's got some speed. I mean, he basically pulled away from the secondary of Sacred Heart on that run.
Yeah, it's a little deceptive too because he's such a big kid and tall. You know, sometimes it doesn't look like he's running as fast as he really is, and he turned it on there. And it's interesting, you know, I talked about in the pregame that I thought we needed to run the football against these guys, and we come out throwing it the first 3 plays, and I had the feeling that I think we can run it at will on them, and you saw right there the first running situation, we take it to the house.
Sam Harrell on to kick for the Eagles. Tees it up at the 40-yard line. Trojans send a couple of men deep. They stand at their 15. Sam gets a high end-over-end kick. It's going to be fielded cleanly by Perron. Perron's going to get back to the 20-yard line, and he will get no more. Stinging kick coverage that time by the Eagles as Perron picks up 5 yards on the return. It's going to bring up 1st down and 10 for Sacred Heart. It looks like they'll spot this football at their 21-yard line.
Yeah, just been a highlight all year, David, the kickoff coverage team for the Eagles. And that time that was John Thomas Dixon who got down there first and made a tackle. Again, I've talked about it many times. It's just a race between a bunch of guys on who could get there the fastest. And John Thomas Dixon beat Cade Woods that time, although Cade Woods able to get in on the tackle as well.
Number 5, Ethan Karonica. The quarterback for the Trojans brings them to the line. They get out of the box formation and double wing saw. Now they're going with 4 wide receivers in a spread formation. Karonica calls for the ball in the gun, pulls it down, looks to throw. He's got a man out in the flat, and that's going to be complete to number 25. That's Alex McElwee, and McElwee's going to pick up good yardage. It looks like a gain of 12 yards, and that's going to be enough for a 1st down for the Trojans. Boy, they went back in time on their first series, and now they're back to the future on the next series as they line up 4 wide and throw the football out in the flat to the fullback. A nice gain on the play.
He had a good play call that time as they caught, I believe it was Cade Woods in the flat. He was coming down. I'm sorry, it was John Thomas Dixon that was coming into the backfield. They just threw a little flare pass over him, and his responsibility was the flat, and there wasn't anybody out there. And a nice play call by Sacred Heart's coaches.
Karonica looks to throw again. This time it's going to be complete to number 21 for the Trojans. That's actually Noah Swallow, and Noah Swallow is going to pick up real positive yardage into Eagle territory before he's run out of bounds at about the Eagle 47-yard lines. A gain of 20 yards on the play. Another well-thrown football by Karonica.
Yeah, and I tell you, Eli Eckstein came up with a chance to make a big hit on him, and I'm not sure what happened to Eckstein as he went down and looks like maybe he hurt his shoulder or his elbow, but he's being attended to on the sideline, having to come out of the ball game, but missed a chance at a big play that time defensively, and as a result, it turns into a big play offensively for Sacred Heart.
1st down and 10 for the Trojans. Ball at the Eagle 47-yard line. Karonica stands in the shotgun. Play fake, looks to throw, and does. It's going to be complete out in the flat again to number 23. Actually, that's going to be Peyton Futch, and Peyton Futch is going to be real close to another Trojan first down.
Yeah, good job of them of throwing the football right now, David, as they hit the man in the flat that time, and not good coverage by the Eagles on the outside, and not good tackling either. So he's able to turn it up and get a nice gain after the reception.
Gain of 15 yards on the play. First down and 10 for Sacred Heart at the Eagle 32-yard line. 7 minutes and 12 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Eagles lead 7-0. Karonica in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Karonica's going to take this one, keep it himself, and he's going to have positive yardage up the middle of the field on what looked like a completely well-designed quarterback draw. Gain of 7 yards on the play, second down and 3.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, David. So they've opened it up a little bit this drive and spread us out, and then they come back with a quarterback draw that time. And Karonica, I mentioned in the pregame, is a good athlete, and that time he makes a nice run on first down to bring up a second and short.
Second down and 5 for the Trojans. Ball at the Eagle 27-yard line. Karonica in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Turns, he's going to look to keep this one on the ground himself. He gets to the corner, and he's going to stay on his feet before he's run out of bounds. It looks like they'll spot him just shy of the 15-yard line. Nice gain on the play. Needed 5 for the first down. Donnie's going to give him 7, and that's going to be more than enough to move the chains.
Yeah, the Eagles just not tackling well right now, David. That was John Thomas Dixon who missed that tackle on the outside, had a chance to stop him for no gain, and Karonica, again, makes him miss and get up the field for the first down.
First down and 10 for Sacred Heart. Ball at the Eagle 18-yard line. Second drive of the night for Sacred Heart. The Trojans traveling from left to right on your radio dial. Karonica in the shotgun, 4 receivers, sends 1 man in motion. Good snap from center, looks to throw, got a little coverage, looks inside. It's going to be a big lick delivered that time, but it's going to be a lick delivered after the catch. As that time, a nice catch by Noah Swallow. Another big gain, well, another good gain on the play. 6 yards, going to bring up second down and 4.
A good pass again. That time was a big lick in the secondary, but a good job by Karonica of putting the ball on the spot. And, this is the first team that we've seen all year that really challenged us through the air. And so far on this drive, at least, they've had some success.
Karonica in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Actually 4 now as he sends a man in motion. Looks to throw. He's got a man out in the flat, and that's going to be complete to number 25. That's Alex McElwee. And McElwee's going to pick up 4 yards. Needed 4 for the first down. It's going to be close, as not sure exactly where they'll spot this one. Looks like... Well, it looks like they may have a measurement, so it's a gain of 8 yards. But we've got a timeout. The Eagles are going to take a quick timeout here with 5 minutes and 29 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Let's go down to the sideline, catch up with Coach Sonny Vadrine with the Marion State Bank sideline report. Coach, they're testing our secondary early.
Yeah, they really are. We just got to get our coverage right. We just seem kind of disorganized right now on defense, getting our coverages right. They're going to be first and goal, guys, from about the 8-yard line. And we got to come up and put some pressure on the quarterback. We're not doing a good job of tackling or doing anything right now. It's almost like we just kind of in a stupor. I don't know that's the only thing I can tell you. And once we kind of get ourselves going, we're going to be all right. But right now, they're being able to pass the ball at will on us and no pressure on the quarterback.
All right, thanks a lot. Coach Sonny Vadrine with the Marion State Bank sideline report. Saul, I have to be honest with you. When I saw him come out in what looked like the old double wing, flex bone, wishbone type formation, I thought it was going to be a pretty long night for the Trojans if that's what they decided to stick with, but instead they're throwing it all over the field now. Yeah,
they found something here, David. It looks like we're just a little confused, and that may have been why Coach Fitzhugh took the timeout that time, is to kind of talk about what they're seeing and maybe make a few adjustments on this drive and see if they can keep them out of the end zone.
First down and goal for the Trojans at the Eagle 8. Karonica in the shotgun. Takes a snap himself. He is trying to fight his way, gets inside the 5-yard line. Going to be a gain of 4 yards on the play. It's going to bring up second down and goal at the Eagle 4-yard line. 5 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Eagles lead 7-0. Sacred Heart knocking at the door. Second down and goal at the 4. Karonica is going to send 2 receivers wide to his right, 1 to his left. He's got an eye backfield beside him, a fullback and a tailback in the gun. Good snap from center, looks to keep it himself, pushes the pile, And that time, he may have done us a favor. So it looked like if he would have cut off of his blockers that time, may have scored. Instead, gets in behind him. The Eagles stack him up for a gain of, well, 1 yard. It's going to bring up 3rd down and goal at the Eagle 3-yard line.
Yeah, good job by Ethan Hogan that time of finding some penetration and able to kind of grab him from the side and hold him up. And, you know, what I've seen in addition is that we're just not getting a lot of penetration up front. That's something we've been used to doing a lot this year. And right now, they've had a little trouble getting some penetration. That offensive line for Sacred Heart has been getting a nice push on us. And you know, now's the time that you got to get a push when it's 3rd and goal on the 4-yard line. The Eagle defensive line got to bow their neck and stop them here.
Karonica in the shotgun. 3 receivers, part of the set. 2 to his right, 1 to his left. 1 running back with him in the backfield. Play action pass, looks to throw, feeling some pressure, puts it up in the air. It's going to be intercepted. Will Fitzhugh is going to come down with it. He's going to be dropped in the end zone for a touchback, and the Eagles are going to take over. 1st down at 10 at their own 20-yard line. Great interception that time for the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't think Karonica saw Will Fitzhugh. He was rolling to the right, and he had a man in the back of the end zone he was trying to throw to, and Fitzhugh was right in front of him, and easy interception for Will Fitzhugh, and big mistake by the Sacred Heart quarterback that time, and we'll take it as the Eagles come up with another turnover. This team has become accustomed to doing that, none bigger than a turnover in the end zone in the playoffs.
Maybe the first time he saw a little pressure tonight, too, Sauls. We actually did get a little penetration. Herring in the shotgun. Turns, hands this ball to, that looks like, no, he's going to fake it and keep it himself. Herring, very elusive running the football sometimes, and tonight does not look like an exception. A great run that time by the junior quarterback, as he's going to pick up 19 yards on the play and enough for another community pharmacy 1st down.
Well, it looked like maybe the same play that they'd scored on earlier, and the hole opened up for him. And as you mentioned, about 5 yards down the field, he makes a guy look very bad on defense as he puts a nice move on him and gets up the field for the 1st down.
To the line, the Eagles, 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Running back with Herring in the backfield. That's Dugan. He's going to throw this one. That's going to be complete to Wiley. A real nice throw that time. Crisp had some zip on it, a gain of 7 yards. And that's going to bring up 2nd down and 3 for the Eagles. Ball now at their own 46-yard line.
And they ran that play off the same play action that Herring had run the ball earlier. So now you got those linebackers cheating inside, wanting to make sure they can stop Herring, and they throw a slant right behind them. Good job of play action by Herring that time, and a nice throw.
2nd and 3. Herring again looks to throw. This time complete to Fitzhugh. Fitzhugh's going to make a defensive back pay for the opportunity to tackle him, as Fitzhugh picks up 12 yards and another community pharmacy 1st down.
Yeah, once again, Herring fakes it inside, and Fitzhugh, actually the inside receiver in a 3-receiver set, just goes up the seam, and again, Herring right on the money with the ball. Good catch and run by Fitzhugh as well.
Herring in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Herring looks to throw, put some air under this one, and looked like some pretty, and there comes the flag. Pretty significant pass interference. One of the officials a little late to the party, but the flag is thrown, and that's got to be pass interference against the Trojans.
Yeah, the Eagles trying to go for a home run that time as they fake again inside, and they send Tristan Wiley deep, and he had his man beat. A good throw by Herring, and looked like the defender kind of grabbed Wiley by the right shoulder and then jumped over his left to try to make a play. And you know, the officials caught him, and they're going to throw a flag for interference.
Well, the Trojans are going to be penalized. I think it's 15 yards in high school. And it's going to bring up, well, let's see.
Well, actually, they're calling it. Well, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're just coming back to mark it off.
Yeah, they're going to mark it off from the line of scrimmage, it looks like.
I don't know why they got to. Well, they're going to get it.
And there's the 15-yard penalty. So it's going to be 1st down and 10 for the Eagles, as they'll spot this football at the Trojan 28-yard line. 2 minutes and 16 seconds left to play in the 1st quarter. Eagles lead 7-0.
Yeah, Eckstein's still not in the ball game. David is looks like they've got number 7, Thomas Culp, in the ball game at receiver for him.
Herring's going to take this one, keep it on the ground with Dugan. Dugan patient running, goes inside the 20, down to the 15. Before he's upended at around the 10-yard line, but he is going to find his way into the Randall's Fine Meat red zone, as it looks like they'll run him out of bounds at the 10-yard line. And again, enough for a community pharmacy first down.
Yeah, good job by Dugan that time, as you mentioned. Just nice and patient on the outside, and he's just improved every game this year, David, in his running. I was real critical of him the first couple of ball games this year, but I think he's really turned it on towards the end of the season. And as we mentioned, averaging over 9 yards a carry, the Eagles' leading rusher on the season. Nice run that time.
First down and goal for the Eagles. Keep this one on the ground to Fitzhugh. Fitzhugh's going to spin out of one man, but then he's going to be upended. A nice job that time by the Trojans. And saw he was brought down by number 24. And number 24, I think, could probably be about 5 foot, maybe 5 inches. He's got to be one of the smallest guys I've seen us play against in quite some time.
Yeah, he must be quick because he got some penetration that time, and that's how he made the tackle. As he was back there just as Fitzhugh took the handoff and able to make the tackle in the backfield.
Actually listed at 5'1". Herring in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Herring's going to keep it on the ground. Touchdown, Eagles. Hunter Herring's going to take it in from 8 yards out, and that is going to be another Trinity Diamonds direct score as the Eagles increase their lead 13-0 over Sacred Heart.
Yeah, let's give some credit to those big guys up front, David, as they're opening up some nice holes for this Eagle running game. And once again, Hunter Herring off to a big night tonight, rushing the football. And he just adds to his touchdown total. Came into the ball game with 11 rushing TDs, and with 2 tonight, that gives him 13 rushing TDs on the year.
Good snap, good hold, and the kick is good. As Walker Morris hangs on to it, Sam Harrell puts it through the uprights. The Eagles are going to increase their lead now, 14-0. Saul, I do want to tip my hat to number 24 for the Trojans. That's Dylan Vadreen. Dylan listed at 5'1", 135-pound senior for the Trojans. A heck of a play a moment ago for Sacred Heart on the goal line. Unfortunately, unable to come up with another one as Hunter Herring takes it in for the score.
And he actually had good penetration on the touchdown run by Herring, but Herring faked the ball to Fitzhugh, and he took Fitzhugh and actually tackled him in the backfield, and Herring keeps it himself. So nice job of ball handling by Hunter Herring with a good fake and able to keep the ball himself for the touchdown.
Minute left to play in the first quarter. The first quarter of Ouachita Christian football, sponsored by American National. Darren Dugan Agency for all your home, auto, life, and business insurance needs. Call Darren Dugan today, 318-807-2100. That's 318-807-2100. Harrell's going to get his leg into this one, fielded cleanly at the 10-yard line. On the return for the Trojans is Tyler Perron, and Perron is going to get back to about the, let's call it the 12-yard, or, well, a gain of 8 yards on the play, and they'll run him out of bounds at about the 18-yard line, where the Trojans will take over now, first down and 10.
Yeah, another great job on kickoff coverage by the Eagles that time is again, it's always seems to be Cade Woods in the mix, and it was Cade Woods and a host of other guys, including Julian Stevenson, that get down there and make a tackle inside the 20-yard line. Anytime you can hold the team to inside the 20-yard line on a kickoff, that's doing pretty well, and the Eagles have done a great job tonight so far.
First down and 10 for the Trojans. Had a real successful drive last time, unfortunately stalled at the 4-yard line with a Will Fitzhugh interception. Karonica brings the Trojans out, looks again to throw. Got a man downfield, and that's going to be complete. And now he lost the football, but able to recover it. Actually on the reception that time, Peyton Futch. And he did have possession, Saul, and, again, made the catch. Lost the handle and was able to cover it. Gain of 20 yards on the play. Another first down for the Trojans as Karonica is doing a real good job throwing the football for Sacred Heart tonight.
Yeah, and under pressure he made that throw, Dave. They just sent a man up the seam, and really probably should have been the free safeties man, and I don't know where Will Fitzhugh was. I think he maybe got looked off that time, and nice throw by Karonica up the seam, and he did fumble the football. I believe it was Walker Morris that came over and knocked him out, but Sacred Heart able to jump on it.
Karonica in the shotgun. Turns, going to fake this one. He looks to keep it himself, and he is going to be sacked on the play. Great penetration that time by the defensive front for the Eagles. Going to lose 7 yards on the play. Hadn't had any penetration in a while, Saul, but that time they do a great job of hemming Karonica up and dropping him for a loss as the first quarter comes to an end.
Yeah, good job by Grant Mishaw. He actually leads this Eagle team coming to the ball game with 12 tackles for loss, and There was another one right there as he got excellent penetration. He and Ethan Hogan were back there. Casey Cobb also in on that tackle as well. But Michal, the leader of this defense, he and Hogan and did a great job that time of getting back there to make that stop.
Ouachita Christian football is presented in part by Forsyth Avenue Church of Christ. Sunday worship begins at 10 a.m., followed by Bible class at 11:10 a.m. Find them on Facebook or facoc.org. Forsyth Church of Christ, proud, longtime supporters of the Ouachita Christian Eagles. I want to send a special shout out to a regular listener of ours, John Dobbs, the minister over at Forsyth Avenue Church of Christ. I want to thank them for their continued support of Eagle football. We get ready to start the second quarter of play. Here at Eagle Stadium, the Eagles lead Sacred Heart 14-0. The second quarter of Ouachita Christian football sponsored by D&H Sporting Goods. Visit the D&H Sporting Goods location in Sterlington for all your Ouachita Christian Eagle gear. And Saul, I will tell you this: I am now the proud owner of a piece of D&H Sporting Goods winter gear after my bout with Old Man Winter last week over in Faraday.
First quarter stats, David. Ouachita Christian with 126 yards of total offense. Sacred Heart with 102. Eagles rushed it for 98 yards. Sacred Heart for 25. Sacred Heart did have 77 yards through the air in the first quarter. The Eagles with 28 yards through the air.
The Trojans are going to start the second quarter. Second down and 17, ball at the own 30-yard line. We're going to have an illegal motion penalty probably against the Trojan, and it's going to be a shame because they're going to have a nice gain here on a little middle screen, but unfortunately it looks like they may have got a head start on that one, as looks like it's going to be illegal procedure against the Trojans.
Yeah, what they did is they had two men go in motion at the same time, and that's where the illegal procedure came from, and they ran a middle screen that time. Don't see a lot of those, or at least I haven't in a while, and that time they've set it up perfectly. They got the Eagles with a lot of penetration, and they throw the middle screen for what would have been likely a first down, or at least very close to the first down, but it's going to come back because of the illegal procedure.
Illegal procedure is the call. Saw it was 2nd and 17. Now you're going to be looking at 2nd and 22. They had a 7-yard loss on the sack, and now you got the motion penalty. That's going to back them up. 2nd and 22, ball at their own 25-yard line. Heading in the wrong direction.
Looks like Cade Woods a little shaken up on that play, and he's coming to the sideline. So far tonight, the Eagles having a little bit of trouble with injuries, and it looks like Cade Woods may be okay, but he'll be out for this play as Tristan Wiley comes in the ballgame at defensive back. 2nd
down and 22. Ball's going to go in and out of the hands. Karonica put some zip on that one, looking for Tyler Perron. It's going to go through his hands, and it's going to bring up 3rd down now and 22 for the Trojans. They're going to have to dig deep in the playbook to find a good 3rd and 22 play.
Yeah, nice pass breakup. I said Tristan Wiley was in the ballgame. Actually, that was Landon Graves that came in. He's at cornerback, and did a good job of breaking on that football and able to break that thing up. And, again, as you mentioned, brings up 3rd and long for Sacred Heart.
Do you have a good 3rd and 22 play as a quarterback, your go-to?
Yeah, just rear back and throw it as far as you can, I guess.
Karonica in the gun. Pulls this one down. Yeah, he's going to feel pressure and going to be sacked again. Saw the Eagle defense just didn't seem to be able to find a rhythm and dial up any pressure on their first drive. But this time they have made them pay here. A loss of 7 yards again. That's going to be a net loss of 14 yards with 2 sacks on this drive. You throw the 5-yard penalty in, and it is going to be 4th and a bundle. They'll spot this football at the Trojan 17-yard line. They need to make it to their own 47 to have a chance. So it's going to be 4th down and 30 as they step into punt. And actually number 2, Lucas Valet, is going to get his leg into it. Will Fitzhugh is going to field it cleanly at about the 45. He's across the 40-yard line, and he's going to run into good punt coverage that time as Will does a nice job securing the football, and he's going to be taken down at about the 42-yard line of the Trojans. So the Eagles start this drive in Trojan territory at the Sacred Heart. Well, actually, they're going to put this one about the 38-yard line of Sacred Heart.
Yeah, great field position by the Eagles, and it was Ethan Hogan who got that sack and forced the punt by Sacred Heart. Actually leads this team in sacks on the year. That'll be his 6th sack of the year, and a real good job by Dylan Dugan on the punt return there. Nice block getting Fitzhugh a few extra yards to free him up once he fields the punt.
Punt covered 28 yards, 8 yards on the return. Fitzhugh in motion, going to throw this one to Will on a swing route. He gets a good block from Wiley on the outside. Now they're going to throw a flag on Wiley. There was no way that block was a hold or a clip, but there's a penalty marker on the play, and they're going to call that one against probably Wiley. So it looked like a good block to me, but it's going to be that one's coming back.
Yeah, it actually was a lateral that time. Wasn't even a forward pass. They send Fitzhugh in motion. Hunter Herring catches the pass and just throws it on a little swing route to the outside. And, again, it was a backwards pass and a well-designed play. But as you mentioned, they're going to get Tristan Wiley on the outside for a hold.
Looked like a good block from here, but, you know, maybe the officials down there had a better perspective on it. Looked clean from here, but they're going to clip the Eagles for a 10-yard penalty from the spot. And that's going to set them up, well, first down now and 20. Ball at the 50. Actually, first down and 22. Donnie Haley always with the right numbers. First and 22 for the Eagles. Ball at midfield. Herring's going to send 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Four receivers part of the set. Dugan joins him in the gun. Pulls it down. Quick pass out in the flat to Graves. Graves goes across the 50, the 45, the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Landon Graves is going to go in for Trinity Diamonds direct touchdown. Touchdown pass is going to cover 50 yards. And I got news for you. The freshman came to play. Landon Graves he's doing a lot of things that you just don't see. It's been a long time since I've seen a Ouachita Christian Eagle do the things he does as a freshman.
Yeah, it reminds me of Mark Laird, the way he ran that tunnel screen, Dave, is he catches the ball on the outside. Nice block by Will Fitzhugh on the outside, and just has a knack of finding a seam, and he's got great speed. As you saw there, he turns up the field for a touchdown.
Harrell's going to get his leg into this one. It's going to be up and good. A good snap and a good hold as the Eagles increase their lead over Sacred Heart now 21-0. Let's go down to the sideline and catch up with Coach Sonny Vadreen with the Marion State Bank sideline report. Coach, what's going on down there?
What, that last series of defense was really good. We started putting pressure on the guys, and we started covering guys. We were running zero coverage, which is just a straight man all the way across, and we finally started to put some pressure on the quarterback, which made a lot of difference. And from down here, guys, it really looks like a mismatch, us on them. But they're playing hard. They're doing the best they can right now. And if they can get their passing game going again, they'll have a chance. But we just got to keep pressure on them, keep doing what we do, and we'll be in good shape. And a while ago, just to let you know, Eckstein has got a little bit of a labrum injury. That's what he had, so he won't be playing anymore tonight. And I think that Wood's okay. He just kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. As I mentioned just a moment ago, that number 24 for the Trojans, young man by the name of Dylan Vadreen.
Yeah, they call him T-Dub, little bitty boy.
Say any relation, Coach?
Any relation, Coach?
There's so many Vadreens down in Villepot, I can't tell. We probably all win.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Sonny Vadreen with the Marion State Bank sideline report. Harrell is going to get his leg into this one, and it is going to travel out of bounds. Unfortunately for the Eagles, they'll be penalized on the play, and it looks like I would think that the Trojans will probably take over first down and 10 at the 35.
Move the ball out to the 35-yard line where the Trojans will have
10 minutes left to play here in the second quarter. The Eagles lead 21-0.
And as you mentioned, really good job by the Eagles that last drive on defense. And I think they weren't expecting that spread passing attack that we saw. They were expecting more of the wing tee throwback offense that we saw on the first drive, and I think Sacred Heart caught them a little bit off guard. And as you mentioned, they're starting to dial up some pressure, a little bit better coverage on the backside, and as a result, gave themselves some good field position on offense, and it turns into another touchdown for the Eagles.
First down and 10 for the Trojans as they start their first drive here in the second quarter. Ethan Karonica in the shotgun, stands at his 30, gets a good snap, puts some air into this one. It's going to be intercepted. That ball was airmailed and hit, it looks like Landon Graves actually saw with the interception. Not to be outdone by a 50-yard touchdown run, the freshman comes up with an interception on the first play of the drive.
Yeah, it actually ties Will Fitzhugh for the lead on the team. That's his 4th interception of the year. And again, another takeaway by this Eagle defense as they just find ways to make plays on defense. And Landon Graves is a playmaker. And good job by him of running after the interception as well. And the Eagles back in business again with a chance to put some more points on the board.
Gain of 16 yards on the interception return. First down and 10 for the Eagles. Ball at the Trojan 32-yard line. 9 minutes and 47 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. Eagles lead 21-0. Herring in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. He's going to turn, puts this one on the belly of Dugan. Dugan with some running room. He's across the 25-yard line before he's hemmed up and stopped. But a nice gain on first down for Dylan Dugan as they'll come up with a gain of 7 yards on the play. Going to bring up second and short.
Yeah, good job of blocking by the left side of the Eagle line that time, and some blocking by the receivers over there as well. Is Dugan with a nice hole, and a good tackle on the backside by Sacred Heart as they make a good form physical tackle on Dugan, and Dugan holds on to the football after getting hit pretty hard.
Love a little play action on second and short, Saul. Herring in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his right. Herring gets a good snap from center. Play action is what he dials up. Looks to throw. Plenty of room. Got a man. The touchdown! Ouachita Christian on the reception for the Eagles. Number 7, Thomas Culp, is going to haul it in from 25 yards out and add another Trinity Diamonds direct touchdown to the scoreboard.
Yeah, and you and Coach Drew Bedreen on the same wavelength as he was thinking play action as well, and they sucked up big time for that free safety spot. And Thomas Culp gets over the top of him, and Hunter Herring with a perfect throw in the end zone, and Thomas Culp with a nice catch, his 3rd receiving TD on the year. Nice job by Thomas Culp.
Harrell on to attempt the extra point. Walker Morris to hold. Good snap from center. It's a good hold. And Harrell did not sneak that one in. Saul, it looked like he was maybe trying to put a little English on it to slip it through the left upright, and unfortunately unable to get it to curl through. So the Eagles hang on to a 27-0 lead.
Yeah, just a good job by the Eagle offense and the Eagle defense as well. As those turnovers put you in good position on offense, and the Eagles strike quickly. And again, a great throw by Hunter Herring. He's having maybe his best night of the year tonight for the Eagles.
So tell me this, before we get too far ahead here, that's 3 turnovers tonight, am I right?
I was thinking two interceptions. That's right.
So
right.
How many turnovers are these guys going to have to come up with to surpass the 1985 state championship team?
Well, as I mentioned, the 1985 state championship team was plus 28, so we're plus 26 on the year right now, and of course it's a cumulative thing through the year. So if you pass them this week, you could lose it next week. But that 85 team actually had 60 takeaways on the year, which is incredible. Considering that this team has had 31, so double the takeaways. So it just shows that they should have been even better. But I threw too many interceptions in 1985. I went back and looked at it, and so the numbers could have been even better.
Harrell's kick is going to be fielded cleanly at about the 15-yard line for the Trojans. And nice job of kickoff coverage. And Saul, you hate to sound like such a homer sometimes, at least I do, but I got to tell you, you and I have been doing this for 10 years. And if I'm not mistaken, this has got to be probably the best year of kickoff coverage I've seen out of this Ouachita Christian team. These guys fly down the field, and they tackle with reckless abandonment.
Yeah, and it's certainly welcome after a few lean years that we've had in the past where we were just having to kick onside kicks every time because we couldn't kick it where we needed to, and we couldn't cover well. And so that's it's been welcome this year, and it's certainly made a big difference in the ability to play defense and hold teams. A defense that on the year only given up 12 points a ball game, and that has a big thing, a lot to do with it. When you pin your opponents down inside the 25-yard line, it's tough for them to score.
First down and 10 for the Trojans at their own 21. They keep this one on the ground with number 21. That's actually Noah Swallow. Swallow's going to lose 2 yards on the play as this Eagle defense. Saul, I don't know. Coach Vedrine even mentioned. So we're going to adjust. We're going to cool down. We're going to settle in, and I think that's exactly what's happening. As just seems like you're seeing more green jerseys in the backfield this time of the game.
Yeah, and a good job by Aiden Ham that time. I was actually thinking about Aiden Ham today when I was putting my notes together. A guy that we don't really talk a lot about, but he has kind of been the unsung hero of this defense for the Eagles. He's quietly had a great year. He comes into the ball game with 39 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and just seems to always be in the right position, doesn't make mistakes, and is a good tackler. And you saw it right there with a tackle for loss on first down.
Second down and 12 for the Trojans, and it looks like they're going to take a timeout. We're going to take a quick one with them. You're listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf. Stephen Fitzhugh Field, Eagles Stadium. The Eagles hosting the Sacred Heart Trojans in the first round, the regional playoff contest in the Louisiana High School Athletic Association Division IV playoffs. 7 minutes and 56 seconds left to play here in the half. The Eagles out in front of Sacred Heart, 27-0. Second down and 12 for the Trojans, ball at their own 20-yard line. Karonica going to stand in the shotgun. Good snap from center. Looks to throws, feeling some pressure from the Eagles. Tries to unload this one and does, but he's going to throw it into double coverage. It's going to be intercepted by Will Fitzhugh. Fitzhugh's going to cut this one back at the 40 across midfield before he's run out of bounds on the far side of the field. Nice return, and again saw another turnover by the Ouachita Christian Eagle defense.
Yeah, third interception of the night by the Eagles, and that's plus 27 on the year, David. They may just go ahead and end this thing tonight, as they're doing a great job on defense. And, you know, one thing I noticed about Karonica when I watch some of his film is that he has a tendency to just kind of throw the ball up for grabs sometimes, and especially when it gets a lot of pressure. And that's what you've seen you even alluded to it on the very first interception he threw in the end zone, as that he got some pressure and he just threw the ball up, and you saw it right there as he gets some pressure there, and the Eagles force him to an errant throw and a really good interception by Will Fitzhugh.
And it was, it gets a little old saying interception by Will Fitzhugh, but that was a really nice play. Had to go up, get the ball at its highest point, come down with it, and a nice run. First down and 10 for the Eagles. Ball already at the Trojan 43-yard line. They go with Fitzhugh right up the middle of the field. And, you know, Saul, I had a chance to read a couple of newspaper articles. One was in the Ouachita Citizen, another one in the News Star. A gain of 13 on the play. As you know, I'm just going to tell you, as far as a total football player, this may be maybe one of the best I've ever seen wear the green and gold. Gets it done in the air, defensively, offensively. That was a great run right there. Just a great football player in Will Fitzhugh. First down and 10 for the Eagles. Gain of 13 on the play. Again, keeping it on the ground with Will Fitzhugh. Fitzhugh goes back across the field, the 20, the 15, down inside the 5 before he's dropped it right at the 5-yard line. Going to be well inside the Randall's Fine Meat red zone, where the Eagles will have it first down and 10. It looks like they'll spot it at the 6, a gain of 23 yards and more than enough for another Community Pharmacy first down.
Yeah, right on cue, Fitzhugh with another great run. Again, he came into the ball game averaging almost 10 yards a carry, and he's only going to help that average tonight after some big runs that we've seen, especially on this drive.
First down and goal at the 7. Turn, hand it to Fitzhugh. Tough sledding. He's going to cut this one up. Makes one man miss, and it pounds another one in for the touchdown. Number 22, Will Fitzhugh, is going to take it in for a Trinity Diamonds direct touchdown. The run is going to cover 7 yards.
Yeah, and we heard Coach Sonny Madream mention a while ago, he used the word overmatched, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing in this ball game right now, is there's just not anybody on that Sacred Heart team that can really stop the Eagles. And that time you saw number 3 for Sacred Heart, Spencer Darbone, come up and try to make a tackle on Will Fitzhugh, and he just ran right over him into the end zone for the touchdown.
Good snap, good hold, and Harold's going to split the uprights as the Eagles will increase their lead over Sacred Heart 34-0. Let's go down to the sideline and catch up with Coach Sonny Vadream with the Marion State Bank sideline report. Coach, I think the Eagles found that pressure, and I think they settled in like you said they would.
Yeah, and that's been the whole key to the game. And Sacred Heart had one chance, and it was on the interception in the end zone. If they had scored that touchdown, they had a little momentum, but they didn't get it. Defense stood up. And you can tell a lot about the way Sacred Heart's playing, because even on the extra points, they're not even rushing anybody to try to block the extra point. So they kind of had their body language just kind of dropping them down. So I'd expect to see the running clock in the whole second half, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Coach Sonny Vadream with the Marion State Bank sideline report. And before we get away from you, Coach, I wanted to mention something to you. I'll tell you what, this Eagle kickoff coverage, you and I have talked about it on the air. I know you have with Saul. These guys are getting after it this season.
They really are. They've gotten better and better. I tell you, ever since that Sicily Island debacle we had, we've gotten better and better each week. And you just watch us run down the field. We're staying in our lanes, and we're really coming down fast. And when you do that, you have good things happen.
Thanks a lot. Coach Sonny Vadream with the Marion State Bank sideline report. And Saul, Coach, and I are going to do everything we can to jinx this Eagle kickoff coverage, but we are not going to do it this time, as that Return is going to, well, I mean, it's going to be a big pileup in the middle of the field. And again, the Trojans are going to start off inside their own 20-yard line. Looks like they'll spot it about the 16.
Yeah, it looked like they're going to give him some forward progress. They drove him back about 5 or 6 yards, but they're going to give him the forward progress to about the 16-yard line. So, you know, we talked about before the ball game on offense being physical, being able to run the football, and I think you've seen it in all phases tonight. Is the Eagles have just been the dominant team in terms of playing physical, playing fast, and as you mentioned, the Sacred Heart team is looking a little dejected on their sideline as they've just not had any success tonight and coming to the ball game with a 5-5 record. So not really a lot of success on the season either, and it looks like that they've been taken out of this thing very quickly.
First down and 10 for the Trojans. Karanika's going to turn and hand this one off. Looked like number 21. That's going to be Swallow on the carry, and he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage and did a great job of doing just that. Had to break a tackle in the backfield just to do that. So it's going to bring up second down and 10 for the Trojans.
Yeah, good job by Cade Woods on the outside as he's able to stop him. After you mentioned he did break a tackle, but nothing there as Cade Woods was just waiting on him and delivers a big blow on the outside.
Second down and 10 for the Trojans. Ball at their own 16-yard line. 5 minutes and 36 seconds left to play here in the first half. Eagles lead 34-0. We've got a timeout on the field. A timeout is taken by the Trojans. We're going to take a quick timeout with them. Thank everybody for tuning in tonight. You're listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf. Stephen Fitzhugh Field, Eagles Stadium, the Ouachita Christian Eagles hosting the Sacred Heart Trojans. Eagles leading this contest in a big way, 34-0. 5 minutes and 22 seconds left to play here in the first half. Trojans take a timeout, find themselves with second down and 10 at their own 16-yard line. Ethan Karanика going to call for the ball, going to turn and hands this one off inside the number 23. That's Peyton Futch. Futch is going to maybe pick up 4 yards on the play. It's going to bring up third down and 6. A big third down and 6 play here for Sacred Heart if they want to keep any momentum going.
I got an update from over in Calvary where with a minute and 17 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Calvary leads St. Frederick's 30-6. So looks like that ball game is about as bad a runaway as it is here so far as Calvary up big in the first quarter.
Third down and 4 for the Trojans. They spot this football at their own 23-yard line. Karanика brings the Trojans to the line. Shotgun, 4 receivers, part of the set. Good snap from center, throws this one out in the flat. That time it's going to be complete. And nice pitch and catch that time as Karanika, it looks like trying to give credit to where credit's due, Saul, but kind of blocked out on the receiver that time, and unfortunately he may have been shaken up on the play. Gain of 10 yards. That's going to be enough for a Trojan first down, but we do have a player shaken up. Let's go down to the sideline and catch up with Coach Sonny Vadrine. Coach, looks like we got a young man shaken up on the play.
I think he got a knee, guys, because he come off sideline. Look, he planted his foot. He just kind of buckled on him on the side, so it looks like it's going to be a knee injury.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Coach. Coach Sonny Vadrine. He looked like the injury may have happened right in front of him, and of course, all of our prayers and good wishes to this young man. He's got a pretty good group down there attending to him, Saul.
Yeah, that looks like they're going to get us with a sideline warning as well as the official comes out and makes that designation. But there's plenty of people looking at him. There's about 7 or 8 people from Sacred Heart over here on our sideline now taking a look at the young man that was injured.
So you were able to track down the St. Frederick score. Calvary out in front of the Warriors 30-6 in the first quarter.
Yeah, pretty safe to assume that that's going to be a Calvary win. And I think we could probably, even though hate to call a game with 4 minutes to go in the first half, but it looks like this will be an OCS win as well.
Well, it's dangerous how much the two scores look almost identical. I can't remember exactly, but it did seem like we put about 42 points up on the Warriors ourselves in a big shutout win here for, for Coach Fitzhugh's 200th victory. And, Saul, if everything continues to hold up here and assuming that it does, it looks like we'll be taking a quick trip over to Calvary next week to take on the Cavaliers.
Yeah, that's right. It looks like that's number 2, Lucas Valle. You may have mentioned that already, but that's who was injured for Sacred Heart, and he's not putting much weight on his left leg.
And Lucas Valle is listed as a 5'9", 160-pound senior defensive back and running back for Sacred Heart, and he is going off with some assistance. Saul, looks like he's kind of favoring his left leg. As all our best wishes and thoughts and prayers go out to Lucas tonight, as hopefully he'll be able to recover quickly.
Yeah, the Eagles, Eli Eckstein, went out of the ball game early in this contest, still hadn't made it back on the field as well. So that's disappointing for the Eagles. It was hopeful that he might be able to get right back in there, but looks like he's not going to return in this ball game tonight.
First down and 10 after the reception, and Lucas able to haul the reception in and pick up the first down for the Trojans. It's going to be first down and 10 for Sacred Heart at their own 32-yard line. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left to play here in the first half. Ouachita Christian way out in front of the Trojans, 34-0. Sophomore quarterback Ethan Karonica is going to bring the Trojans to the line. 2 receivers split wide to his right, 1 to his left. Trojans traveling from right to left on your radio dial. Karonica is going to find a receiver, and a nice run after the catch that time, as it looked like he completed it to number 21, Noah Swallow, and Swallow with a nice run after the catch, gain of 13 yards. Saul, we're starting to see a little bit of rhythm that we saw in the maybe their second drive as the Trojans pick up another first down.
Yeah, and a good job by Karonica that time as he stood in there with some pressure in his face. Looked like that was Mashal coming in there on him, and he stood in there and delivered a strike. And as you mentioned, good run after the catch by Sacred Heart to pick up the first down. And then, unfortunately, Will Fitzhugh limps off the field as well. He's going to be replaced by Culp in the secondary.
3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the first half. Karonica in the shotgun. Gets a good snap from center, feels some heat, steps up, and that one's intercepted. On the interception for the Eagles is number 7, Thomas Culp. Culp's going to come up with a real nice pick, Saul. Very nice scoop as that one was headed to the turf. Culp able to slip his hands up underneath there and come up with the interception for the Eagles off the kind of a carom, hit the intended receiver, maybe another Eagle defender, and Culp able to secure the football.
Yeah, his Karonica throws that ball into a big crowd that time, and Culp back there in his free safety position. He'd come in for the injured Will Fitzhugh, and he's right there where he needs to be to intercept the football, the 4th interception of the night for the Eagles.
First down and 10 for the Eagles. Hunter Herring in the shotgun. An eye backfield beside him. Pulls this one down. Quick pass thrown in the direction of Culp. Culp lets it go in and out of his hands. Almost intercepted that time by Perron for the Trojans. As a nice throw that time. Maybe one Culp should have pulled in, but it's incomplete. It's going to bring up second down and 10.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I thought it was too far behind him that time. That would have been a tough catch for him to make as he's running a slant route, and that ball, you're running he was running towards his right, and the ball was thrown behind him, and just not able to make a catch. And, he got his hands on it, so you're probably right. He should have made the catch, but it was a tough one to make.
Second down and 10 for the Eagles. Dugan with a crack. Dugan across midfield. Dugan across the 40, the 30, the 20. You ain't going to catch him. Dylan Dugan's going to take that one in. Big touchdown run that time by Dugan.
Going to come back, though, Dave. I think they're going to get Landon Graves on the outside with a hole, but it's going to negate what was a great run, but also an unbelievable block. As we didn't mention it, but Van David Mathern makes his return to the Eagles tonight after missing a couple of ball games with an injury, and he put a great block on the outside as he knocked you call that a pancake block by the fullback Van David Mathern, and then, as you mentioned, Dugan just hits the sidelines, and he's got a lot of speed, one of many Eagles with some speed, and he turns that into a touchdown, but it's going to come back because of a hold.
Well, not only is it coming back, Saul, we're going to get bumped for a 10-yard penalty from the spot, and now you're going to be looking at second down and 8 for the Eagles as they spot this football at the Eagle 44-yard line. Herring's going to turn. Play action fakes. Got a man out in the flat that's going to be caught, and that's going to be enough for a community pharmacy first down as he finds Culp out in the flat. Nice catch that time. And that's going to be a gain of about 12 yards, or actually 9 yards on the play. Needed 7 and got 9. And that's enough for another community pharmacy first down.
And Culp taking advantage of his opportunity tonight with Eli Eckstein out of the ball game. He's getting a lot of playing time. And that time Hunter Herring with a great throw as he fakes to the right and rolls out to his left and gets his body a turn and delivers a strike to Thomas Culp down the field.
Minute and 40 seconds left to play here in the first half. Herring in the shotgun sends Will Fitzhugh in motion. Fitzhugh's going to pull it in. He's going to be tripped up. Brought down that time by number 23, Peyton Fudge. Fudge comes up with a nice stop. Actually made it back to the line of scrimmage. No gain. Minute and 27 seconds. Clock continues to run. Second down and 10 for the Eagles. Ball at the Trojan 42. Herring in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Again, this time they're going to send a running back in motion. This time, Herring's going to put some air under it. It's caught by Wiley. 5. Touchdown. Ouachita Christian. Number 3, Tristan Wiley, is going to haul it in from 47 yards out. And the Eagles are going to add another score on right here before the half with a minute and 3 seconds to play. That touchdown brought to you by Trinity Diamonds Direct. For all your diamond needs, visit our store on Blanchard Street in West Monroe.
Boy, and a great throw and catch that time. That was just a deep post route, and Herring throws that ball up, and that lets Wiley go and get it. And one thing I've been very impressed with tonight, David, is the fact that the receivers catch the football. They don't drop any footballs, these receivers for OCS, and they're catching everything thrown to them tonight. And Tristan Wiley goes over there and just up there and yanks that one away and takes it in for a touchdown.
A nice snap. Walker Morris with the hold, and Sam Harrell is going to split the uprights as the Eagles increase their lead over Sacred Heart, 41-0. A minute left to play here in the first half. Let's go down to the sideline and catch up with Coach Sonny Vadrine with the Marion State Bank sideline report. Coach, 41-0 here in the first half. I didn't think it would turn into this early.
Well, it's just tell you that they've kind of lost a little bit of their mojo over at Sacred Heart. They just kind of, you can just tell by watching, there's just not many of them want to be here right now. And that the last holding call, you could call it a holding. He wasn't grabbing the guy, but his hands were on the outside of the receiver. So I guess typically that would be where you call holding that. But I'm telling you guys, I'm surprised the clock's not running right now. It's only a minute and 3 left. So, but it'll be a running clock the whole second half.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Coach. Coach Sonny Vadrine with the Marion State Bank sideline report. Minute and 3 seconds left to play here in the first half. Harrell tees this one up at the 40-yard line. Harrell gets his leg into it. A nice kick. It's going to travel inside the 20-yard line. And number 25 for the Trojans, that's Alex McElwee. And McElwee is going to commit the sin of sins when it comes to returning a kick. He is going to run east and west. And you just do not do that, and especially against a good kickoff coverage team like the Eagles. Tough to get going, tough to pick up yards going east and west on a kickoff. I can tell you that, Saul.
Yeah, I really thought they could have got Sacred Heart for a block in the back that time, because I think it was John Thomas Dixon who had a chance to make the tackle, and they blocked him and knocked him off his feet. But it looked like to me he got hit in the back, but the referees do not call it. But really didn't matter as Sacred Heart once again starts deep in their own territory as they take possession after the Eagles score a touchdown to make it 41-0.
52 seconds left to play in the first half. Ethan Karonica is going to line up in the shotgun for the Trojans. Karonica gets a good snap, and they keep this one on the ground. They go with number 25. That's Alex McElwee. And McElwee is going to lose a yard on the play. Going to bring up second down and 11 with 40 seconds left to play. And I don't know how motivated the Trojans are going to be to run another play. They don't have to, but we'll see here as they trail in this game 41-0.
It's amazing how this game just changed on that Fitzhugh interception in the end zone. The Sacred Heart had something going offensively, driving the ball down, gets third and goal on about the 6-yard line, and throws an interception to Will Fitzhugh in the end zone. And from then on, this has just been a Donnybrook, as you would say, as it's opened up, and the Eagles have taken a commanding lead here.
3 seconds left on the clock. Karonica looks to throw. He's going to take a straight drop. Now he's going to feel some pressure. He's going to unload one. and that's going to go into the stands. That is going to bring an end to the first half of play here at Eagle Stadium. The Ouachita Christian Eagles way out in front of the Sacred Heart Trojans here at Fitzhugh Field, 41-0. We're going to take a break and invite you to come back and join us for the Rocket Fast Car Wash halftime show. Visit Rocket Fast today. Rocket Fast, it's a blast. As the Eagles with a 41-0 lead. We're going to take a break here at Eagle Stadium. Come back and join us for the halftime show. Saul will have all the stats from the first half of play, and we'll see if we can't track down some scores from around the area. You're listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf.
How about that dance line? Ladies, your music is on. How about those cheerleaders?
We would anticipate seeing a running clock here in the second half.
Oh, I think so. I think so. There's no need for them trying because I think they've only had that one drive that got inside on the about the 5 or 10 yard line, and then they threw the interception. And since then, they hadn't even crossed 50 yard line, I don't think. So it's pretty evident. And we're gonna get the ball to start off the second half, and I feel pretty confident we got a chance of scoring if we don't just turn the ball over. And then we go up almost 48-0, and it's almost impossible to come back from that kind of a game against our defense. It really is.
Well, Coach, another thing that Saul and I talked about, and we talked a little bit about it with you too, is I don't know if you had heard, but Calvary is really laying the wood to the St. Frederick Warriors over in Shreveport tonight. Somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30-6 or so in the first quarter. Looks like we're probably going to be traveling over to Shreveport next week to take on the Calvary Crusaders and our Cavaliers, I should say. And I don't know, Coach. It's one of those games where, probably going to be facing possibly the best team in our division instead of later in the year in the second round. I'm not really sure. I mean, you got a wealth of knowledge coaching football for as long as you have. Do you want to face, somebody like that in the second round, or do you want to wait till later? Or, I mean, as far as health and when you face them, does it really matter?
I guess if you had your choice, you'd like to play them in the state championship. But in the real scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you got to play them at some point in time. So, you just got to go out there and do your best. I mean, we've done that in the past. We had to play the defending state champs in the second round before when we played Iota. We had to do the same thing against West St. John. We've done the same thing against Manny. So we've had to play those teams, and sometimes you don't get that great matchup in the Superdome, but you just got to play them at some point in time. So now, later, whenever you do it, you still got to come up and play your best game, and that's what we're going to have to do next week because we're not going to play our best game tonight, and we're going to have a little bit of a letdown. So maybe next week we can come back fully focused, mentally focused, and be prepared to play a great game next week because those are the games you live for. That's what you want to play, the best team and the best team. And I honestly think that we are the two best teams in our division. I really do.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Coach Sonny Vadrine with the Marion State Bank sideline report. The Eagles way out in front of Sacred Heart tonight, 41-0. We got about 6 minutes or 7 minutes or so left in the Rocket Fast Car Wash halftime show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We're going to take another quick break from here at Eagle Stadium. You're listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf. Fitzhugh Field at Eagles Stadium. I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Rocket Fast Car Wash halftime show. Visit Rocket Fast today. Rocket Fast, it's a blast. Got a few scores from around the area in the third quarter. Washita Parish tied up with Houghton 7-7 in the third quarter. First quarter score, Rayville and Port Allen, no score from over there, 0-0. At the half, Faraday over Vinton, 42-0. Over at Cedar Creek, Church Point out in front of the Cougars right now in the second quarter, 14-0. Cougars trail. St. Frederick over in Shreveport tonight, taking on Calvary Baptist, probably in all likelihood the Eagles' second round opponent. And Calvary Baptist way out in front of the Warriors in the second quarter, 32-6. Neville out comfortably at the half, out in front of South Lafourche. The Tigers on top, 28-7 here at Eagle Stadium. Washita Christian out in front of Sacred Heart, 34-0. Interesting score up at Sterlington tonight. Sterlington 14, Crawley 8, and that's late in the second quarter. No score from over at Ruston, and as well as Jennings and Carroll, but a few scores from around the area. Here at Eagle Stadium, the Eagles out in front again of Sacred Heart, 41-0. We'll take our final break from here at the Rocket Fast Car Wash halftime show. We'll come back. Saul will have the first quarter or the first half stats from tonight's game. Eagles out in front, 41-0. You're listening to Washita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf. Field at Eagles Stadium, and the Eagles right now way out in front of the Sacred Heart Trojans, 41-0. And I'm not sure what the numbers are going to show, but the Eagles have been just about able to do whatever they wanted to on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, just a dominating first half by the Eagles as they again lead this game 41-0. Number of plays, the Eagles ran 21 plays in the first half. Sacred Heart ran 27. Total offense was 120 for Sacred Heart, 307 yards of total offense in the first half for the Eagles. Time of possession, Sacred Heart, 12 minutes, 57 seconds. For the Eagles of Washita Christian, 9 minutes, 46 seconds. Sacred Heart rushed it 13 times for 21 yards. Washita Christian Eagles rushed it 9 times for 148 yards. Through the air, Sacred Heart was 8 of 14 for 99 yards and 4 interceptions, no touchdowns. The Eagles were 9 of 12 for 159 yards and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Sacred Heart fumbled at one time, but they were able to recover that. The Eagles did not have any turnovers in the first half. Sacred Heart had the 4 interceptions. Sacred Heart had 9 first downs. 2 of those came rushing and 7 of them passing. The Eagles had 13 first downs in that first half. 7 via the ground and 5 through the air. The Eagles were 0 for 1 on third down conversions, 1 of 1 on fourth down conversions. Sacred Heart was 2 of 4 on third down. They did not go for it on fourth down. Sacred Heart was penalized 2 times for 20 yards in the first half. The Eagles were penalized 2 times for 20 yards as well. The Eagles had 1 sack in the first half. Sacred Heart did not have a sack. Sacred Heart punted the ball twice for a 17-yard average, and the Eagles did not punt in the first half. Individually for Ouachita Christian in the first half, Hunter Herring was 9 of 12 for 159 yards. It's a 75% completion percentage. He had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Hunter Herring was also the leading rusher in the first half. He rushed it 3 times for 78 yards. It's a 26-yard average. He also had 2 touchdowns rushing. Will Fitzhugh rushed it 4 times for 43 yards and 1 touchdown. Dylan Dugan rushed it twice for 27 yards. The leading receiver in the first half was Tristan Wiley, who had 2 catches for 54 yards and 1 touchdown. Landon Graves had 1 catch for a 50-yard touchdown. Thomas Culp had 2 catches. 1 of those went for a touchdown. Will Fitzhugh had 3 catches for 21 yards, and Eli Eckstein had 1 reception but did not gain any yards on that catch. The leading tackler in the first half for the Eagles on defense was Aiden Ham, who had 5 tackles. 1 of those was for loss. Grant Mishaw had 3 tackles. Also had a tackle for loss as well. Ethan Hogan had 3 tackles in the first half. So a pretty dominant half of football for the Ouachita Christian Eagles, both offensively and defensively.
Well, the Eagles come out getting ready to take the field, completing their warm-ups. The Trojans have also made their way out of the locker room. As want to thank everybody again for tuning in to tonight's Division IV regional playoff contest between the Ouachita Christian Eagles and the Trojans from Sacred Heart. Going to be a long drive back for the Trojans tonight, 3.5 hours as they made their way up from Ville Platte. Right now, trailing in tonight's game 41-0. Solid. It's not something you even want to really bring up, especially in a game with the score the way it is. But boy, it's been interesting tonight to see as this game has really gotten away from the Trojans. But a lot of Eagles seem to be getting banged up a little bit there in the first half.
Yeah, I don't think anything too serious. You know, Eli Eckstein probably the most serious of those. Hopefully, though, it'll be something that with a week of treatment, he can get back and be ready to play next week. And as we mentioned, Folds and Holyfield were only going to be used in an emergency situation tonight. And, in fact, those 2 guys have taken their pads off as the emergency is over, and no reason for them to play at all in the second half tonight. And they should be ready to go next week.
Well, the Eagles have completed their pregame warm-ups, getting ready to head over here to the sideline as we get ready to get the second half underway. Nice night for football here in Monroe. Crisp, cool night. Let's go down to the sideline and catch up with Coach Sonny Vadrine. Coach, it looks like it hadn't gotten any colder since you got down there.
It really hasn't. It hasn't gotten any colder, but we just got word from the other side. It will be a running clock the whole second half, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach. Coach Sonny Vadrine with a Marion State Bank sideline report. And I got to tell you, Saul, I'm a fan of the running clock. When these things get away from us, it's nice to get these guys off the field and get ready for next week. Eagles make their way over here to the sideline. The Trojans make their way, and we're about ready to get the second half underway. The Eagles will receive to start the second half of play and have an opportunity to put some more points on the board here on their opening drive. And Saul, I always look at this thing. What do you anticipate in the way of starters? You look at them coming out for the first series, or maybe not anymore tonight? Or
yeah, I think with a 41-0 lead, I'm putting them on the bench for the most part. Maybe let the offensive line play, but I'd have Hunter Herring out of there and probably get Landon Graves in at quarterback, and certainly have Will Fitzhugh out of the ball game as well.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Usually you see Hunter Herring and Landon Graves warming up together. I actually saw it looked to me like, yeah, it was. It is going to be Landon Graves that's throwing with him. I thought maybe we had somebody else warming up with him, but it looks like Graves will. And I'll tell you what, Saul, when you're the Sacred Heart Trojans and you see Landon Graves trotting out on the field, the backup quarterback, if the Eagles want to throw the football, there is nothing off the table with that young man.
Yeah, it all depends on if they had the Oak Grove film or not. If they saw the Oak Grove film, they know that there won't be any drop-off when Landon Graves comes in the ball game at quarterback. And, of course, they've seen him play wide receiver tonight and defensive back, and he's been pretty special at both of those as well.
Trojans are going to kick this football off. Handling the kicking chores for Sacred Heart is number 7, Tyler Perron. Perron gets this. Is going to be a real short kick. It's going to be fielded cleanly by one of the upbacks for the Eagles. Nice job of catching the football. Not somebody who usually is going to get their hands on one, but that's actually number 10 for the Eagles on the reception. That's actually Barham White. Barham's going to secure it, pick up 5 yards on the return.
Yeah, it actually looks like the Eagles are going to keep their starters in the ball game, at least for this first series, as Hunter Herring comes in at quarterback. Will Fitzhugh stays in. Dylan Dugan's in there. Tristan Wiley's in there as well.
First down and 10 for the Eagles. Ball at their own 45-yard line as they get ready to start the third quarter of play. Herring in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Got a running back with him in the backfield. Going to send Fitzhugh in motion. Give this one to Dugan. Dugan's going to find some tough running, but he's going to pick up 5, maybe 6, 7 yards. Wait on Donnie for the final number, but a nice gain right up the middle of the field for Dylan Dugan. Gain of 6 yards on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 4 at midfield.
Yeah, good tough running by Dugan inside, and a good push by that offensive line. Is that you sort of feel like Sacred Heart accomplished something by holding the Eagles to a 7-yard gain that time, but a really good first down play for the Eagles on just a simple lead play, zone blocking up front, in the offensive lineman just pushing the pile back.
Herring in the shotgun. 4 receivers part of the set. Again, they go with Dugan. Dugan makes one man miss at the line of scrimmage, and he is going to have enough for a community pharmacy first down. A gain of 4 yards, needed 4 for the first, and that's exactly what he got. First down and 10 Eagles at the Trojan 45-yard line.
And that's enough for a Washita Christian first down.
Clock continuing to run here in the third quarter. Eagles opening possession of the second half. They find themselves first down and 10. Ball at the Trojan 45-yard line. 2. Dylan Dugan runs. Herring in the shotgun. 2 running backs with him in the gun. Going to send Dugan out in the flat. Herring pulls this one down. Looks to throw and does. And that one looked like it's intercepted. They're going to give him a catch, and they do, as on the interception for the Trojans is number 3, Spencer Darvone. And that was probably not one of Hunter's better throws of the night, Saul, as it's going to be picked off by the Trojans.
Yeah, that is not a good throw by Hunter Herring at times. He got some pressure, and he didn't set his feet. And of course, it was very difficult to set his feet that time as he threw falling backwards and just put too much air on it, overthrew Hunter Herring, and it was actually the free safety behind the intended receiver who's able to make the catch, and actually a nice catch as he dives for that ball and able to scoop that up off the turf and come up with the interception. The Eagles' first turnover of the night.
First down and 10 for the Trojans. Karonica keeps this one on the ground. Gain of 1 yard on the play. Actually, maybe a gain of 2 on the play as the running back is going to be shaken up, and actually Donnie's going to correct me. It's not a gain of 2. It's going to be a loss of 2 and bring up 2nd down and 12.
Yeah, first time we've mentioned Christian Gray tonight, and boy, he's had a big year. Came to the ball game with 50 total tackles, 11 tackles for loss, and also 3 sacks. And actually a guy who didn't start the year starting at defensive end and really was just kind of a part-time player. Actually started the year playing cornerback, and man, he's had a great year at defensive end.
2nd down and 12 for the Trojans. Karonica looks to throw, and he's got a man. Completes that one to number 23, Peyton Futch, and Futch is going to have enough for a first down for the Trojans. A nice throw that time for Karonica, and they pick up 14 yards on the play.
And they catch the Eagles in a blitz that time as there was no linebackers in the middle of the field, and a good job by Karonica of, again, he got some pressure, and he oftentimes throws it off his back foot even when he doesn't have pressure, which I think has caused him to make some errant throws tonight. But that time he makes a good throw in the middle of the field, and they pick up a first down.
First down and 10 for Sacred Heart. Ball at their own 41-yard line. Karonica sends a man in motion. 4 receivers part of the set. Karonica looks to run it himself, and he does. Ball came out. No signal right now from the officials. No gain on the play, as it looks like the Trojans are going to be able to come up with it. Saw as soon as the Eagles go plus in the turnover range, they almost come up with one to wipe it away.
That's right. That was Christian Gray who was able to strip the ball, and fortunately for Sacred Heart, they were able to fall on it. But the Eagles, again, very opportunistic and a nice job. As Gray was not the primary tackler, and that's a well-coached football team on defense. Is when you've got a guy who's making the tackle, you can come up and that's the time to get the fumble as Christian Gray comes in there very opportunistic and pulls that ball away. But again, Sacred Heart able to fall on it.
Well, the Eagles are going to get penalized. Coach Fitzhugh is not happy with the penalty. And as a result, the Eagles are going to, the Trojans pick up 5 yards on a penalty. I didn't see the flag on the field until late. It's going to be a sideline warning, and I guess we got a warning early, Saul, so now that one's going to be enforced. So it's going to bring up 2nd down and 4 for the Trojans. Karonica tips this one, caught in a flat, big lick by Will Fitzhugh as he comes up from his free safety spot and delivers a blow. Ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, timed out perfect, and Will comes up with a big lick. Going to be a loss of 2 on the play.
Yeah, Cade Woods had the pressure and able to get his hands up and tip that football, and that poor receiver for Sacred Heart had to sit there and wait on it. I'm sure he could hear the footsteps of Will Fitzhugh coming from the free safety spot with a head of steam, and as soon as he catches it, Will Fitzhugh makes him pay for it. And a clean hit and a big hit. And in football in this day and age, a lot of those big hits have been taken away, but that one perfectly legal. And Will Fitzhugh celebrates after he makes the big hit.
Credit the receiver, hung on to the football. He took a huge lick, but did come down with it. Karonica is going to unload this one. He feels a ton of pressure that time, and fortunately for the Eagles, unable to get any zip on that one, as that one's going to fall incomplete. Again, a lot of pressure in the backfield from the Eagle front 4.
Yeah, Michal with a lot of pressure that time, and as you mentioned, Karonica, he could throw that ball off his back foot, but he didn't have enough strength to get that one where he needed to. And Landon Graves almost came up with the interception, and so he was running as fast as he could to try to catch up with the football and not able to get to it.
Going to bring up 4th down for Sacred Heart, 4th down and 7. Ball at the 45-yard line, and the Trojans elect to take a timeout here on 4th down. We'll take a quick timeout with them. You're listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf. Ouachita Christian School, the Eagles out in front of Sacred Heart, 41-0. Big 4th down play here in the 3rd quarter for the Sacred Heart Trojans. They find themselves with 4th and 7 at their own 45-yard line. 5 minutes and 12 seconds left to play in the football game. Or I say the game, the 3rd quarter. Ethan Karonica lines up in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Karonica looks for it. He's going to have heat immediately. A lot of air under this football, and it's going to be incomplete. And the Eagles are going to take over on downs. Immediate heat that time. Saw penetration from all areas of the defensive front. Karonica unloads it. Lucky he didn't give up an interception.
Got a couple of score updates at halftime. Calvary leads St. Frederick's 46-6. And Neville in the 3rd quarter is leading South Lafourche 35-7.
Again, looking like that's possibly going to be the Eagles' 2nd round opponent if everything stays the way it does so far tonight.
I would say that will definitely be the Eagles' 2nd round opponent.
Herring in the shotgun. Dugan joins him in the gun. He's going to turn, hands this one off quick. That was actually Bub Mathern on the carry. Number 21 for the Eagles, a gain of 4 yards. Nice, tough run inside by Mathern.
Yeah, good to see Mathern back in some actions. Mathern has been a key player for this Eagle team all year long at fullback. We ask a lot from the fullback position here at Ouachita Christian, and he's mastered it. And good to see him back after being out with an injury for a couple of weeks.
Gain of 4 on the play brings up 2nd down and 6 for the Eagles. Ball at the Trojan 42-yard line. Herring in the shotgun, turns, hands this one to Dugan. Dugan with a seam, nice hole. He's at the 30, now he's inside the 25, run out of bounds at around the 20-yard line. But a nice burst that time out of Dylan Dugan. And Saul, you've mentioned it several times tonight and throughout the season. Dugan seems like he is getting a little bit better, running a little bit harder as each week goes by. Nice gain of 21 yards on the play and enough for a community pharmacy 1st down.
I think a lot of it's confidence, David. I think it maybe at the beginning of the year, a little bit last year, he was just thinking too much. But now he's got a lot of confidence in what he can do, and you saw it right there. And again, we talked about Mathern the play before, and Mathern with a great kick-out block to open a hole for Dugan to get down the sideline.
First down and 10 for the Eagles inside the Randall's Fine Meat red zone at the 20. And Herring puts some on that one. Saw real lucky that one didn't get picked off. Slips right through the hands of a Sacred Heart defender. That's going to bring up second down and 10 for the Eagles.
He was late with that, though, David. They ran Mathern in the flat and ran a slant behind him. And that's a throw. As soon as that flat defender takes the Mathern, he's got to throw that slant behind him, and he waited too long and allowed the inside linebacker to get out there. And as a result, it almost turned into a pick against Herring that time. Fortunate that the linebacker dropped it.
Second down and 10 for the Eagles. Ball again in the Randall's Fine Meat red zone at the 20-yard line. Herring in the shotgun, an eye backfield beside him. Gives this one to Dugan. Mathern with a great kick-out block again, Saul, but Dugan's going to pick up positive yardage, gain of 5 yards on the play, and that's going to bring up second down and 5 for the Eagles at the Trojan 15.
Yeah, good hard running that time by Dugan. A good job of tackling by Sacred Heart as they're still playing hard in this ball game despite getting beat 41-0 and a running clock and all the bad things that have gone against them. Got to give them credit for still fighting and making some tackles out there.
Minute and 40 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Eagles lead 41-0. Herring's going to turn, gives this one to Dugan. Dugan gets met at the line of scrimmage. Tough sledding inside for Dugan. Third quarter of Ouachita Christian football is sponsored by Firm Foundations Counseling in Monroe. If you're interested in learning more about EMDR trauma therapy, call Firm Foundations Counseling today. 318-654-7010 or online at myfirmfoundations.com. And want to thank the folks at Firm Foundations Counseling for their continued support of Ouachita Christian athletics. Fourth down and 4. Eagles are going to go for this one. Herring's going to fake it, throws out in the flat. Mathern pulls it in at the 10. Mathern at the 5, and he's going to be dropped inside the 5-yard line. Not tripped up as Mathern short of the goal line, but that's going to be more than enough for another community pharmacy first down. The Eagles find themselves first and goal at the Trojan 2-yard line. Gain of 12 yards on the play.
Yeah, good throw and catch that time as Herring fakes and rolls out to the outside, a little counter pass, and hits Mathern in the flat. Perfect pass, and thought Mathern might take that in for a touchdown, but just lost his footing at the last minute and stumbled down at about the 2.
Herring in the shotgun, turns, hands this one to Mathern. Mathern in for the touchdown. Number 21, Bub Mathern takes it in for the Eagles, and that's another Trinity Diamonds direct touchdown. For all your diamond needs, visit their store on Blanchard Street in West Monroe. Mathern takes it in from 2 yards out to add to the Eagle lead, 47-0.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that may be Mathern's first rushing touchdown of the year. He's had 3 receiving touchdowns, but the first one he scored on the ground this year. For good job by the Eagle coach staff getting him involved and allowing him to get into the end zone.
A snap in the hold, and that time Harold's going to push that one. That looked like one of your drives off the tee box, all just dead left. As that one is not going to find anywhere near the upright, and that is going to be no good. Looked like we had a good snap, looked like a good hold, just unable to get it through the uprights.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked like he hit the bottom of the ball and just kind of kicked underneath it. I'm not sure. His last couple of kicks have not been so smooth, and maybe just hesitating a little bit. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not a kicker and don't claim to be, but something wasn't quite right on those last couple of kicks, and needs to get that shored up before next week, because those kicks can come in, can be very important when you're involved in a close ball game, and we've missed 2 of them tonight.
Well, you and I talked about before the game if we were fortunate enough to get over to Shreveport next week, and then Coach alluded to it just a few moments ago when I talked to him. Saul, he said that you play a team like Calvary, and we've played teams in the playoffs that have been, where the odds seem like they were really stacked against us. And the one thing I heard you say, and another one that Coach did, was you got to play a perfect game, and perfect is going to mean making every point and taking advantage of every opportunity that you have.
Yeah, really probably the only negative thing that you could say in the ball game tonight has been just a couple of extra points and one of the kicks that he kicked out of bounds. So it just looks like the timing's off just a little bit, and that's something that they just got to keep working on. And the first several look really good. So now I know they can do it. Maybe they just got a little complacent on the last couple ones. So just got to work on that and come out and make it happen next week.
Harrell tees it up at the 40-yard line. A low line drive kick going to be fielded cleanly in the air by number 7. That's Tyler Perron for the Trojans. And he'll get back across the 20-yard line, but looks like they'll hem him up and drop him at around the 25. Gain of 7 yards on the return, and that's going to be first down and 10 for Sacred Heart as they'll spot this football at the Trojan 26-yard line. And Saul, just like that, we're in the fourth quarter. As the third quarter came to an end, and now we're with 11 minutes and 13 seconds left to play in the football game. The Eagles lead 47-0.
Yeah, and of course the Eagles have, since the Oak Grove game, everything's been short games, running clocks in the second half, and I would be a little bit worried about it in the fact that if you get in a full quarter ball game, we're going to be in good enough shape. But the Cavalry's faced the same thing as well. They've been in a bunch of running clocks in the second half, so it's going to be two teams kind of in the same situation.
Karanka looks to throw the screen pass, and he does. It looked like it took a month to develop, and as a result, he's going to complete it. Looked like it was complete to Peyton Futch, actually incomplete, and that's going to bring up second down and 10 for the Trojans.
Yeah, try to run that middle screen again that they were very successful on one occasion in the first half, but got called back because of an illegal procedure penalty. And the Eagles going to have to do a good job of recognizing screens, because that's one thing that Cavalry does very well is run the screen. And we hadn't really seen a lot of that this year, and it takes a lot of discipline on the defensive front to recognize that and be able to fall off and make that tackle.
Trojans keep this one on the ground. Again, they look with Peyton Futch, gaining 1 yard on the play. It's going to bring up now third down and 9 for the Trojans. They'll put this football at the Sacred Heart 32-yard line.
And I think that's why you see Coach Fitzhugh still keeping his starters for the most part in the ball game. There's a couple of subs in there, but I think he's thinking the same thing that we were just talking about, and that is that you got to have your team in shape to play a 4-quarter ball game. And when you haven't had a chance to do that for a few weeks because the clock's been run the second half, you got to take advantage of what little opportunities you have to just get some plays in and make sure that you stay in shape.
Karanka gets a good snap from center, looks to throw, throws again, Saul off his back foot, and that one is knocked away. Looked like on the coverage that time for the Eagles was number 50, Ethan Hogan. Gets his hand in there and knocks it down. It's going to bring up fourth down and 9 for the Trojans, again at their own 32-yard line.
And a really good job of coverage by Ethan Hogan that time as he was trailing the running back and did a great job of turning and looking for the football at the last minute and actually getting his hand out to try to make a play. And almost did come up with an interception.
Fourth down and 9 for the Trojans. Ball at their own 32-yard line. 8 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the ball game. Eagles lead 47-0. Karanka in the shotgun. Takes a snap at his own 20. And he's going to quick punt this one. Catches the Eagles off guard. But if history's taught me anything, Saul, the Eagles wouldn't have returned the punt with this kind of lead anyway. So it's going to be first down and 10 for Ouachita Christian. They'll spot this football at the Eagle 40-yard line.
It looks like you'll get some mass substitutions now on offenses. Looks like the only starting offensive lineman that I see still in the ball game is Avery Pilgrim. Everybody else is new. I had to take that back. Looks like Andy Weatherford's still in the ball game at center as well. And looks like we're going to get a new quarterback as Landon Graves comes into the ball game to play quarterback.
Number 5, freshman quarterback Landon Graves. Landon's got a touchdown tonight already and an interception. Lines up in the shotgun. 2 receivers split wide to the left, 1 to the right. Graves in the gun. He's going to keep this one himself. He goes across the 40-yard line, continuing to move his feet, but he's going to be wrapped up by big number 72 for the Trojans. Gain of 4 yards on the play. It's going to bring up second down and 6. Clock continues to run down inside of 7.5 minutes. Second down and 6 for the Eagles. They put this football at the Ouachita Christian 44-yard line. Eagles way out in front of Sacred Heart, 47-0. A lot of fresh faces in on the offensive side of the football for the Eagles. Landon Graves brings him to the line. In the shotgun, 2 receivers split wide to his left, 1 to his right. Actually, 2 to his right. 4 receivers, part of the set. Graves pulls it down, looks to throw. He's getting immediate pressure, and he's going to be sacked on the play. And that's going to be a big loss, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and long for the Eagles as Graves loses 8 yards on the play. Going to bring up 3rd down and 14 as they spot this football at the Eagle 35.
Yeah, that'll be the first sack of the ball game for Sacred Heart. And again, we talked about the makeshift offensive line in there now, and sometimes you get that when you start putting a bunch of fresh faces on the offensive line. And I'm sure Landon Graves was probably hoping that the starting offensive line would still be in there, as he had no chance on that play to really do anything.
3rd down and 14. Ball at the Eagle 35. Graves in the shotgun. Gets a good snap from center, rolls, looks to throw and does. Unloads this one out in the flat. That's going to be complete to number 6. That's John Daniel Thomas. And Thomas hauls it in. Gain of 12 yards on the play, but the penalty, or the sack, I should say, hurts the Eagles, as now they'll be looking at 4th down and let's call it 4th down and 2. They'll put this ball at the Eagle 48-yard line.
Yeah, good throw and catch that time as they roll Landon Graves out to get him away from some of that pressure, and he throws a strike going to his left, throws a comeback route on the outside. Good catch by John Thomas Dixon to bring up a 4th and short.
4th down and 2 for the Eagles. And we're going to have some movement on that looked like the Sacred Heart side of the ball.
I think I said John Thomas Dixon. I meant John Daniel Thomas was the recipient of that catch on the outside.
Well, the Trojans decide to jump off sides, and that's going to give the Eagles a 1st down. Clock continues to run now inside of 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Graves brings the Eagles to the line. 2 receivers wide to his right, 1 to his left. Eagles traveling from right to left on your radio dial. Graves in the shotgun. A good snap from center. Pulls this one down. He's going to be complete as number 8, Patrick Mercado, brings it in. But, well, actually, he's going to be separated from the ball. Takes a big shot from one of those Sacred Heart defenders, and it's going to be incomplete.
Yeah, that was John Daniel Thomas, and I think he's a little woozy out there. They need to get him out of the ball game as he caught a slant route and gets hit from in the secondary. And Coach Fitzhugh very upset at that call, that wasn't a personal foul penalty for targeting on the free safety, as Thomas was hit up high in his helmet, and he's wobbly coming out of the ball game, and as you mentioned, dropped the football, but the Eagles recover.
2nd down and 4 for the Eagles. Ball at the Trojan 40-yard line. High snap from center, handled. And that's going to be a nice run that time. Actually, number 36 for the Eagles. So I got my roster kind of split up here, but a nice run that time. Let's see. We want to make sure we give this young man credit for a good run. That's actually James Fort.
No, that's not James Fort. He's not playing anymore.
Well, number 36, or actually, let's see, 26. And we're still going to, I'm going to find him, and I'm going to give him credit for a good run. That's Carson McCoy.
No, it was Dylan Dugan. It was 25, Dylan Dugan.
Oh, well, I stand corrected. I did not think Dylan Dugan would have been on the football field, but he was. It was a nice run for Dylan. Gain of 3 yards. Going to be 3rd down and 1 at the Trojan 36-yard line. Graves is going to call his own number. He's going to go up the middle of the field, and he is going to go in for another Trinity Diamonds Direct touchdown. Gain of 38 yards on the touchdown run as Graves takes it in. Saul, again, this young freshman football player continues to do things that you just don't see a lot of freshmen do. Is an outstanding run that time. Faked it to his running back, kept it himself, and took it in for the touchdown from 38 yards out.
Well, there's very few times, David, when you see a player run the football and it looks like everybody else is just in slow motion, and that's what it looks like when Landon Graves has the football in his hands. And he is a weapon to score from anywhere, whether it's receiver, quarterback, whether he intercepts a pass in the field, because he is so fast, and he's also elusive as well. But it just looks like everybody's standing still when he runs the football. And I think the Eagles are going to just continue to try to find more and more ways to get him the football. And he could play a big role in that game next week, David, against Calvary, because he's a weapon on the outside, somebody who can take it to the house.
Good snap, good hold, and a good kick as Harrell splits the uprights, as the Eagles add to the lead 54-0. 2 minutes left to play in the football game. So I'm not even really sure if they'll get this kickoff. Clock is continuing to run. And I would imagine if you took long enough to go out there and get it teed up, time might expire here in the ball game. 1:50 left to play here at Eagles Stadium. The Eagles lead 54-0.
And as we mentioned, Calvary was ahead of St. Frederick's 46-6. They're actually just now kicking off in the second half, so they're a little bit behind us over there in Shreveport. It'll be a long, late trip home for St. Frederick's tonight.
Probably takes a little while to get out there and get motivated to get out there for the second half. Calvary's an excellent football team. Saul, I think it's well, you alluded to it earlier. I think it's probably about time to say that that's who we're going to be playing next week. Eagle fans, we're going to be traveling to Shreveport next week to take on the Calvary Cavaliers. Arguably, maybe one of the better teams in all classifications, Saul, as they have a heck of a football team. As we're right now at 1 minute left to play in the game. And I think it's going to be, if you haven't had a chance to catch this Eagle football team, Saul, next week might be the perfect time to do it over at Calvary.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good ball game, David. At least I hope it'll be a good ball game. They're going to be, as you mentioned, they're a good football team, and it'll be a big test for the Eagles. But we've had a few tests the last few years, and we've not been able to get over the hump in terms of winning the ball games. But they've certainly been some good ball games that we've seen. And you know, of course, the one last year against Southern Lab, a great team we played, just not able to finish it at the end as the Eagles lost that game.
That's going to do it. The clock is going to wind down. 15 seconds, and that should be the final play of the game. It looks like the Trojans may try to sneak one more in here, but they're not going to get to. 7 seconds, 5. The Ouachita Christian Eagles are going to come out victorious in this one. They're going to beat Sacred Heart 54-0, as the Eagles are going to win their first round playoff game against the Trojans. And have a real sneaking suspicion that you need to make plans to come to Shreveport next week to watch this Eagle team take on the Calvary Cavaliers. We're going to take a quick break from here at Eagle Stadium, come back and get the final stats from tonight's game. You're listening to Ouachita Christian Eagle football on 92.3 The Wolf.